At the wedding, the champagne flute shattered against the marble floor, a crystalline scream that silenced the ballroom's laughter. I stood frozen, my heart a lead weight in my chest, as my wife, Clara, spun in the arms of a coworker, Daniel, their bodies pressed too close, their smiles too intimate. The wedding reception swirled around me, glittering chandeliers, clinking glasses, the band's sultry jazz, but all I saw was a hand resting on his shoulder, her laughter spilling into his ear. I was the CEO of a law firm, a man who commanded boardrooms. Yet here I was, unraveling in a rented tuxedo, my world fracturing with every step they took across the dance floor. Clara's sapphire dress caught the light, shimmering like a secret she wasn't telling. I'd noticed Daniel's glances at her during the firm's holiday party months ago, his lingering looks, the way he leaned too close when they spoke. I'd dismissed it as paranoia, a flicker of insecurity in a marriage I thought was ironclad. But tonight, as the bride and groom cut their cake to polite applause, I saw it again, his hand brushing her waist, her eyes flicking away from mine. My stomach churned, acid rising as I gripped the edge of the bar, the polish wood cold under my palms. "Are you all right, Mr. Hargrove?" The bartender's voice was soft, concerned, but it grated against my nerves. I forced a nod, my jaw tight. Clara hadn't danced with me once tonight. Not during the slow songs, not during the upbeat ones that made her hips sway. Instead, she was with him, their bodies moving in sync, as if they'd rehearsed his betrayal in private. I replayed our morning in my mind, searching for clues. Clara had been distracted, her fingers fumbling with her earrings as she stared into the mirror. "You're quiet," I'd said, brushing a kiss against her temple. She'd smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Just nervous about the speech," she'd replied, her voice thin. I'd believed her. I always believed her. But now, watching her laugh as Daniel whispered something in her ear, I wondered if I'd been blind all along. The band shifted to a slower tune, a haunting melody that wrapped the room in intimacy. Clara's head tilted back, her throat exposed as she laughed again, and Daniel's fingers tightened on her hip. My chest burned, a cocktail of rage and heartbreak bubbling up. I wanted to storm across the floor, yank her away, demand answers, but doubt rooted me in place. What if I was wrong? What if this was just a dance, just a moment stretched too long by my imagination? I forced myself to move, weaving through the crowd. The scent of perfume and wine thickened the air. I needed air, space, anything to clear the fog of suspicion. Outside, the garden was a maze of fairy lights and roses, the night air cool against my flushed skin. I sank onto a bench, my hands trembling as I pulled out my phone. No messages from Clara. No apologies. No explanations. Just silence. "James!" Her voice startled me, soft but edged with something I couldn't place. Clara stood in the garden's archway, her dress glowing under the moonlight. Daniel wasn't with her, but his absence felt like a ghost between us. "Why are you out here alone?" she asked, stepping closer, her heels clicking on the stone path. I swallowed the lump in my throat, my voice low. "Why are you dancing with him all night?" The words came out sharper than I intended, slicing through the quiet. Her eyes widened, then narrowed, a flicker of guilt, or was it defiance, crossing her face. "Here's a friend, James. It's a wedding. People dance." Her tone was light, but her hands twisted together, betraying her calm. I stood, closing the distance between us, the air heavy with unspoken truths. "Friends don't look at each other like that," I said, my voice trembling. "Friends don't touch like that." My mind raced, replaying every late-night meeting she'd had with Daniel, every work emergency that kept her at the office. I'd trusted her, built my life around her, but now each memory felt like a crack in the foundation. Clara's lips parted, but no words came. Her silence was louder than any confession. I stepped closer, my voice dropping to a whisper. "Tell me I'm wrong. Clara, tell me there's nothing between you two." My heart begged her to lie, to rebuild the trust one could feel crumbling. She looked away, her gaze fixed on the roses, their petals trembling in the breeze. "You're being ridiculous," she said finally, but her voice wavered, a thread of panic woven through it. "Daniel's just," he's supportive. "He listens when I talk about work, about the stress. You're always so busy, James." Her words hit like a slap, twisting the knife of guilt into my chest. I was busy. Meetings, depositions, the firm's endless demands. But I'd always thought we were a team, that she understood. So you turned to him. I asked, my voice raw. What does he give you that I don't? Clara's eyes met mine, glistening with unshed tears. He sees me, she whispered. Not the lawyer's wife, not the perfect partner for your image. Me. The confession hung between us, sharp and irreversible. My knees buckled, but I stayed upright, clinging to the last shred of control. How long? I asked, the question tasting like ash. She didn't answer, but her silence was enough. Months, maybe longer. The realization clawed at me, shredding the life I thought we had. I wanted to scream, to break something, but instead I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound that echoed in the garden. James, I didn't mean, she started, reaching for me, but I stepped back, a touch of betrayal I couldn't bear. The fairy lights blurred, my vision swimming as I fought the urge to collapse. I'd built an empire, won cases that made headlines, but I couldn't keep her. Inside, the music swelled, a cool reminder of the celebration we'd come to share. I turned away, walking back toward the ballroom, my steps heavy. Clara called after me, her voice breaking, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. Not yet. As I re-entered the reception, Daniel stood near the bar, his eyes locking onto mine. There was no guilt in his gaze, only a quiet challenge, as if he knew the truth and dared me to face it. My hands clenched, the urge to confront him almost overwhelming. But then I saw Clara behind me, her face pale, her eyes pleading, and I knew, whatever happened next, our marriage was already a casualty. The band played on, oblivious to the wreckage unfolding. I grabbed a glass of whiskey from the bar, the burn of it grounding me as I faced the truth. Clara had chosen someone else, and I'd been too blind to see it. The night stretched on, each moment a slow bleed of hope, until the final note of the music faded, leaving only the echo of betrayal.